That beat always gets me going right there. Good way to start the show. VJ's on sports.com.com. I'm your host, VJ Right. That's because I always think I am. Hashtag 8515. Great show for you guys today, man. Might have some callers from some certain networks popping in on the show today. We'll wait and see how that all plans out. Gonna talk New York Knicks. I'm gonna talk about White House visits. We're gonna talk LA Lakers, Magic Johnson, the Carolina Duke game last night. OKC welcomes back in Kevin Durant after Kevin Durant, as many would say, ran on them, tucked tail, ducked up the back door. Whatever adjective you want to use to describe Kevin Durant leaving OKC, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out there who will agree with you. I'm not one. I always say players can do what they want. I may not like it, but I don't ever think somebody's either kind of running or ducking out the door. I believe there's a lot of information given to players. I think there's a lot of advice given to players from their inner circles. Everything is about a brand right now, so people got to kind of stick to their brand and do what their brand's first, especially in the NBA. Seems like brand comes before team, comes before career, and your career helps your brand, or your brand helps your career. I'm not sure that your career helps your brand like it used to. It used to be, you know, if you just went out and won. Penny Hardaway didn't know when he came from Memphis State. That was Memphis now, but it was Memphis State. He didn't know when he was drafted from Memphis State that he would have had Little Penny and Chris Rock doing the voice of Little Penny. I mean, celebrities in his commercial. They gave him his own Super Bowl commercial where he was throwing this Super Bowl party with all these celebrities there. Tyra Banks appeared in his commercials. But his play on the court lets all that. I'm pretty sure Grant Hill didn't know he'd have Fila, he'd have Sprite, he'd have all these other different endorsements and all these great things going on for him that went well for him in his career while he was playing. First started his career while he was playing with the Detroit Pistons. I think that there is a certain level of brandness that either helps your game or makes your game look better than what your game really is. So we'll definitely get into talk about that. Also, more NBA news. And speaking of the Knicks, I'll start there, and we'll start with Charles Oakley, and we'll start with the incident that happened. And I don't want to bang too much on that one incident because, ladies and gentlemen, that is a microcosm of what has been going on, what has been facilitating the type of culture. There's that word again that I like to use on Sports Talk Radio. Culture. The culture that you set in life, the culture that you set with your career, the culture that you set in your relationship, that you set with your kids. Everything in life needs a culture. And if your culture is not good, don't think your business is going to thrive. Don't think your relationship is going to thrive. Don't think your team and your players are going to thrive. Something as simple as a friendship. There's a culture that's set in your friendship. Everyone that's listening right now, there's a culture that you've set with your friendships and your friendships with your friends and your associates. This is what it is. This is how I will conduct myself. This is how I expect you to conduct yourself. And if you can, we're good. And if you can't, we're not. And things aren't going to be good. When you have that type of broken culture relationship, things aren't going to go the way you want them to. Things aren't going to go in the direction that you think they should go. That's what's happening with the New York Knicks. This thing with Charles Oakley the other night, this is such... Number one, how do you arrest Charles Oakley? And now you start to see the story start to seep out. You start to see the story seep out of him being approached walking in the arena on game night. You're like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Who are you here to see? And he's purchased a ticket. But this is going back 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Now these stories start to seep out. That's part of the culture. We'll get to Carmelo Anthony and we'll get to Phil Jackson because I think both of them wrongly. And I know I stand on the outside of this, and that's fine. At least you know it's a real opinion and not something that's fabricated from the media and from what I read on in papers on the internet and what I hear on radio or see on television. I don't think it's there to. It's not Phil Jackson. And it's not Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has been doing nothing but being a model citizen through this entire ordeal. Carmelo Anthony has not ruffled any feathers. Carmelo Anthony has not said the foreseeable wrong thing that we know most athletes are bound to say at any given point in time when you're dealing with things like this. Trade rumors. Does he want to play? Does he want it real bad? Does he want to leave? Trade clause. Contract. Doesn't care about winning, only about the money. When all these narratives are brought up, players can go a lot of different ways. Carmelo Anthony has done nothing but stay the model citizen. Now, The cynic will say, well, yeah, because if I were getting paid that much money, guaranteed, I'd stay, I'd stay in the narrow also. I'd stay right in the middle too. I'm staying right in right in the middle of those narrow yellow lanes on the highway. You guys know the lanes I'm talking about in the street. There's 2 lanes and sometimes there's 1 lane. When there's 2 lanes and it's yellow, Carmelo's staying right in between, not touching either one. Dolan's on one side, Phil's on the other side, and then the media is just all over everything. But the culture that has been set with the New York Knicks for years and years, and really, guys, when you think about it, it's going to a 20-year run. It's past 20 years since they had a legitimate shot at winning it, like a legitimate shot. I know they went to the finals in '99. That they didn't have a legitimate shot to win those finals. The Spurs were on the rise. The Spurs were on the come up. We knew it was only a matter of time before the Spurs won a championship. It happened to be that year. And it was a 50-game season. The Knicks were the 8th seed. They beat the Heat in the first round. And then they move on through 2 more opponents and they get to the finals. Maybe if that season plays out longer, the Knicks record kind of turns around. You do have 32 games more. So say they go 20-12 or they go 22-10 over those last 32 games. I'm pretty sure they're not the 8th seed. Now, the number will say this 8th, but I don't believe that's legitimately NAC. But it's past 20 years that the Knicks have been viable. The Knicks aren't even a free agent destination anymore. They could have had Kobe. They could have had Shaq. They could have had LeBron. They could have had Wade, Bosh, Love, Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Dwight Howard. Like, listen to the names that I'm naming you who've been free. They could have LaMarcus Aldridge. No, what did they want to do? Their big go-after was going to be Greg Monroe. And I'm a Piston fan. Greg Monroe's from the DMV. I'm not banging on Greg Monroe. But Greg Monroe is not the first free agent in any free agent summer that I'm looking at and saying, I'm going after this guy. If I'm not a championship caliber team, then I'm looking for LeBron, Durant, Curry, Harden, Westbrook. I'm looking for those guys first. And if I'm in the middle of the road, I'm trying to clear cap room so I can go after one of those guys first. Now, if I'm Golden State right now, if I'm the San Antonio Spurs right now, if I'm the Cavs right now, if I'm Boston right now, then yeah, maybe a guy like Greg Monroe is a guy I'm going after with my free agent number 1 overall go after guy is going to be Greg Monroe. But I already have LeBron and Love. I already have Steph and Clay and Durant and Draymond. I already have Aldridge and Leonard and Tony Parker, even though he's older. But then Patty Mills comes in and does his thing. Like, I already have guys. I'm just trying to add another, like, B-plus piece. But that's what the Knicks have gone after and done. It wasn't Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony that was all over the way Van Gundy got escorted out and the way he resigned. It wasn't Phil Jackson and Melo that was the reason why everybody blamed Isaiah for everything that was going on. Now, there were some sexual harassment things. I wasn't there. I don't know about that. I'm not going to speak on that. If he did it, he dead ass wrong. And everybody that knows me knows Zeke is my guy. Zeke's my NBA guy. Zeke, Kendall, Rasheed, Grant, Kobe, Vince. Those are just my NBA guys, man. Always will be. Love those guys. Always will. But Zeke got blamed for a lot up there. He got blamed for everything. Was it Zeke? I mean, how many of the coaches? They've had Mike Woods in there as a coach. Well, I guess it was all his fault too, right? I mean, you're talking about a franchise that is, and I've said this before, time and time again to all my Knick friends, all my Knick family members. The NBA is good when the Knicks are good. When the Knicks, the Lakers, and Boston are good, the NBA is outstanding. I don't care who's on their teams. Those are the major markets. Those are the major basketball markets. I'm so tired of hearing that you don't have to be a big market to win. No, you don't have to be a big market to win because guys all want to go play with their friends now. So that's kind of stumping your own opinion about that, like your own statement about that. It's kind of stumping that right there. Flip over to the West Coast where I am in Los Angeles. Look at the Lakers; they're a mess. Magic Johnson's involved now. Magic Johnson wants to have more say, or have a bigger say, or have the biggest say, or have final say. Like that's been his the line in the sand he's drawn to come back and help. Teams are always reaching for the past. Culture. The late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, I understand why everybody loves him. I understand what he created with the Laker girls and cheerleader and entertainment. I understand what he created with Showtime and the Forum, and he had a Forum Club. And we know nowadays that, things happen everywhere. But could you imagine that day? In those days where things, those back hallways or back rooms or back offices or that old Forum Club for celebrities and the players after the games and even the visiting players that wanted to hang out and wanted to stay around and see all these celebrities that they watch in movies and watch in their homes. Could you imagine the stuff that went on in there? Those days are gone, though. The culture now is we keep reaching back. Magic was a coach. They brought Magic back again. They stayed and gave Kobe his money. I get it. You stayed and you kept. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, maybe a little too long. James Worthy, maybe a little too long. That's why they went through 93, 94, 95. And then, of course, their fortunes all changed in 96. They get Shaq and Kobe. But in 97, 98, they still didn't do anything. They got swept in the playoffs. 99, strike shortened year. And then 2000, it all comes together. But the Knicks keep reaching. They keep reaching back and making just bad decisions. Now, did Phil Jackson hire these coaches? Absolutely. He hires Derek Fisher because what does Phil do? Phil goes and he reaches back. But that's the culture that he's brought in under. You can't blame him for that. No general manager or head coach can change the culture unless the owner is ready for the culture to change. The Dallas Cowboys didn't start drafting linemen and finally get themselves a running back to start running the football the way Jimmy Johnson built the team until Jerry Jones wanted to change the culture. What was Jerry Jones' culture before that? He just flat out wanted to just get the high money guys, big name guys. It was about a show. He had rings. Those 3 rings he could walk around and sport. It's the Cowboys. It's America's team. They play every Thanksgiving. They're going to play all the prime time slots. They're going to play the Packers. They're going to play all the other great division teams, NFC, non-NFC East teams every year. So you get to see those games. And every now and then you're going to get a Dallas versus the top AFC or second best AFC team. He can rest on that for a while until those rings start to become far and few in between. Last one they win is in 95, I believe, right? 95, 93. They won in 90, 92, 93, and the Niners won in 94, Cowboys 95. So you get to 96, 97, 98, 99, go through the T.O. years, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, go through the Dave Campo coaching years, go through 3 straight 5-11 seasons. 09, 010, you get Romo, you lose those games, the 06, 07 years, 08, 09, Romo type playoff memory. We all know, but we don't have to rehash. Everybody knows what happened. Drops the snap against Seattle. Almost looks like he's going to score. Jerry Jones decided to change the culture. And now look at the Cowboys. 2 of the last 3 years, if not for injuries, year before last with Romo and Des Bryant, 2 of the last 3 years, this team has lost 4 regular season football games. 4 of them. That's it. They've only lost 4 regular season football. 5. 13-3, 14-2. 2 years ago, 13-3. This year, 14-2. Last year, we know what happened. No Romo, no Dez, no shot. No running back, no Romo, no Dez, no shot. Sketchy defense, you don't have a chance. Which is surprising because the defense played well. But the culture was when Jerry Jones decided to change the culture. That's when fortunes changed for them. As long as the Knicks have the culture that they have, I mean, it's gotten to the point where one of the most beloved New York Knicks players of all time, and if not for him befriending Jordan and allow Jordan to play the mind games that I would, with Van Gundy, believe that Jordan would do, he would hang out with guys. He knew to start hanging out with Barkley at some point. He knew to start praising Barkley on the side at some point because in competition, he knew Barkley. When he looked him in the eye, he knew he could get him. Barkley had his guard down already. How is it that no one ever hung out with Jordan and blessed Jordan with the compliments like that? Former players. I've heard Reggie Miller say it. We used to go and worked out with Jordan when they was shooting the Space Jam movie. Him and a bunch of NBA players would go out there and would come out to LA and work out with him and play pickup games. There's a video out about the best game never seen, not the USA Dream Team game, but a pickup game in Jordan's compound when he was shooting Space Jam. Dennis Rodman's in town, Reggie Miller's in town, Grant Hill, Chris Webber, some real prominent NBA guys came into town, came out here to LA and played pickup games with Jordan. Reggie Miller's on record as saying, yeah, I wish I hadn't, because what he did is just picked up all our games. And then when he had a chance to beat us all and knock us out, he did it. Because he had already seen it. He had already kind of had us from us hanging with him. That's the part of Oakley I just wish he wouldn't have done, because I believe the Knicks were always a better team than those Bulls teams. They were a better team. They just didn't have that dog. And the one dog that they have that would really, really look Mike in the eye, not back down, just happened to be like their fourth best player in John Starks. Ewing wouldn't do it. He claimed he loved the Georgetown guys. He loved Mutombo. He loved Ewing. He loved Morney. He loved the Georgetown guys. Yeah, he loved the Georgetown guys. You guys are people are so silly, man. It's subliminal. He hit the game when he shot over you guys in college as a freshman. Of course he loves Georgetown. Georgetown is the school. Michael Jordan that's this kind of career, because the running joke through sports media and through just fans is the only person that can hold Mike in college under 20 was Dean Smith. So we didn't even really see the great, and he still won Player of the Year. And he still was an All-American. He was that good, but he was also very smart. He knew how to methodically get at you. That's, in my opinion, is what stopped the Knicks from beating them in 94, 95, 93 too. That's what stopped the Knicks. The one guy that Jordan didn't have in his pocket mentally just happened to be their fourth best player. Oakley was a beast. Oakley used to play for the Bulls before he went to the Knicks, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Bull. So he knew Jordan a little bit, but that's what this franchise is. One of the most beloved Knicks of all time is arrested and thrown out of the game in front of everybody. And Oakley, listen, man, Oakley still look like you could take him to the club, because you know if something pop off, Oak Tree got you. Oak Tree got you. Man, and Pee Wee and Stab Wound, all them dudes, you know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? They may got you, they may not. You know Oak Tree is down. Gray hair and all, gray beard, gray goatee, gray hair, got the salt and pepper hair going, old man strength. Did you see the way it was like 39 security dudes? Oak Tree still, he got that old man strength. Like, I wouldn't fight Charles Oakley right now. Right now. I gotta give him like a hug or something, man. Like, hey, come on, dog. Hey, come on. Hey, come here, man. Bring it in for the real stuff. Come here, Oak Tree. You big old lovable tree. You come here. Let me hug that bark. Come on, buddy. Like, seriously. But that's what this franchise is right now. And you can flip it to Carmelo. You can flip it to Phil. It starts with culture. And the culture is set by the top. This Dolan is ruining this franchise. But here's the thing. He's not ruining his pockets. Knicks fans, if you're tired of it, stop going to the games. I've never seen a team in the last 20 years as bad as the Knicks, who sell out almost every night. I've never seen this many sellouts for such a bad team. This team is bad. Knickerbocker fans, if you're tired of it, stop going to the games. You're going to what? Yell, get drunk, be mad, yell your slurs, and your hardcore, really cool, but sometimes annoying New York, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, Long Island, Harlem accents. Puerto Rican style, Bronx accent, Brooklyn style accent, the Jewish guys. I went to a Knickerbocker game, man, against the Lakers when Kendall was playing with the Lakers. And we sat amongst a bunch of, it was about 5 or 6 typical, born and raised New York Jewish guys. Good guys. We had fun. I was talking back and forth with them. We were talking sports, talking about the game. It wasn't no hatred or no animosity, nothing like that. But I was like, man, I looked at my fiance at one point and I said, yo, man, these some real New York. She was like, I know. Like, his accent is strong. I said, yeah, that's that Jewish New York accent right there, man. But just mad at the game, mad at the fan, mad at the game, upset. The Knicks weren't that good. Knicks have had like one good year in the last 15 years. What's the common denominator, guys? Has Melo been there all that time? No. Has Phil been there all that time? No. Has Dolan been there all that time? Yeah. He was there for Isaiah. He was there for the Van Gundy years against the getting beat by the able to go beat the Heat every time. At least they did that. Allen Houston, Larry Johnson with the bad back. hitting threes with the foul at the end of the game to get 4-point plays to come back out of nowhere and win basketball games. But if you look at how many playoff series this team has won in the last 20 years, it's embarrassing. But the fans don't stop going, so why would he put a better product on the court? At the end of the day, business is business. When business isn't booming, the smart people, they learn how to put better product out there. They learn how to hire better reps for managers to train and work with. They know how to hire better DMs to actually be able to work better with the managers so they can train their reps properly. Train company employees properly. Train your players properly. Because we're all on the same page. When you have a revolving door, now everybody wants Mark Jackson. That's reaching back. We're just going to go bring we're going to go bring a former Knick in now. Until the owner decides to change the culture himself and the culture of how he thinks he should run his team, this is going to be the fate of the New York Knicks. Without a doubt, it's not going to get any better. I want to take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we'll get more to Phil Jackson. And I'm probably going to say something about Carmelo Anthony that most of you are going to be very, very surprised about. We'll also get into the White House visits. What constitutes whether a player should have to go to the White House or not? And should more players boycott the White House visit if you truly do not support the president or what he stands for or his views? All that and more coming up. VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct, Spreaker.com. VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct, Spreaker.com. I'm your host, VJ, right? That's because I always think I am. I want to thank everybody for tuning in right now live. Don't forget to also check us out, guys, on the podcast later on iHeartRadio. We always go live on Spreaker.com, and then I podcast it later over to iHeartRadio. So check us out over there. We were talking about the New York Knicks, and I was talking about Dolan, the owner, and what it means to create culture and how you can't blame every GM and every superstar and every head coach that comes in. And speaking of head coaches, we haven't even mentioned Hornacek. How do you think Hornacek's thinking right now? Hornacek is just like, I mean, the guy just wants to coach, and look what he's caught in the middle of. He's caught in the middle of a player that might want to leave. He's caught in the middle of a GM who's on Twitter and who's putting out these subliminal messages, whether he's trying to play mind games, he's trying to rile them up, or whatever the case may be, that being Zen. That's what I call Phil. I call him Zen. And speaking of Phil, I want to go there too with Phil. Listen, guys, I'm gonna take a little piece of what I heard Michael Rappaport say yesterday. I already felt this way, but he said it before I could get on live radio and say it. So I want to make sure that I preference that Michael Rappaport has the same feelings that I have, and he spoke so passionately about it because he is a New Yorker, born and bred all his life. And I want to live in New York one day. I think New York is a fabulous, outstanding city. It's great for sports. It's great for food. It's great for entertainment. It's great for coffee. It's great for sandwiches. It's great for soups. It's great for seafood. It's great for everything. New York's great for culture, museums, music, everything. It's New York. Yeah, you got to deal with some snow. Yeah, you got to deal with some cold weather. Yeah, you got to deal with some traffic and things like that. Most people in New York don't even own a car. They take the subway. They take the metro. There's no such thing as the metro never being crowded. It's always crowded because people are always on it. Bus system, same thing. New York has that kind of living where you're not looked down at and not having a car. You live in LA, you don't have a car, you're broke. You're a bum. Northern Virginia, even where I come from, you don't have a car. You don't have a car. No, I don't have a car. Cars are expensive. You have to pay insurance on the car and tags on the car. Cars are expensive. That's why kids at 16, I want a car. You can't afford a car. Yes, I can. What's the payment? Yeah, but there's insurance, there's tags, there's registration, there's maintenance. Like, kids don't understand that. You don't even need a car in New York. New York is such a great city. So I don't want to act like I'm banging on New York. I'm talking about the Knicks specifically in the culture. And that's not the culture of the city. The culture of the city is winning. You have the Giants. You have the Jets. The Jets haven't won in a long time, but you know what they get to hang on to? They get to hang on to the guarantee and Willie Joe Namath. They get to hang on to that. The Rangers, Stanley Cups. The Yankees, 26 World Championships. They get to hang on to that. There's a winning culture there. The culture that the Knicks have, it's horrible. Even Brooklyn made a mistake, in my opinion. All of a sudden, if we're moving from New Jersey to New York, you're going to be the second fiddle team. And if you're not good, nobody's even going to know you exist. How many times has any of you that's listening to the show live right now on Spreaker.com, how many times have you ever said, not ever, how many times in the last year has the word Brooklyn Nets come out of your mouth? That's the first time I think I've said their team name all season long. And they're just as bad, and they're worse than the Knicks. And the Knicks really, at least the front office of Brooklyn, they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get it together. They tried to go make some big moves. They wanted to go after Dwight Howard. They went and got Darren Williams. They were trying to really go big and make moves and really get that Jason Kidd in there coaching them. They went and got Garnett. They went and got Pierce, even though they were older. But they tried to go make moves. They're trying to create a certain culture there that eventually leads to winning. Phil Jackson comes from a winning culture, guys. For everybody that wants to bang on Phil Jackson, I'm sorry, I'm taking up for Phil Jackson on this. I get tired of hearing, well, he just had Shaq, and he just had Kobe, and he just had Jordan. Those guys also played for other coaches and didn't win championships. And the only guy that won championships with anybody else was Shaq. But he played for a guy named Pat Riley that already had 4 championships. He already had a bunch of them. Well, he had great players too. Every great coach needs great players, guys. You don't see great coaches win championships with average players. Name me one. Maybe in football you can say Tampa won with Brad Johnson as quarterback. Yes, just him. Warwick Dunn was the running back. He'll go to the Hall of Fame. Warren Sapp was on the defense. He's in the Hall of Fame. Derrick Brooks was on the defense. He's in the Hall of Fame. John Lynch was on the defense. He's in the Hall of Fame. Rondé Barber will be in the Hall of Fame. Simeon Rice will be in the Hall of Fame. Keyshawn Johnson would be considered by most people top 15, top 20 receiver of all time in the NFL. People always want to say coaches, oh, well, he had this guy and he had that guy. Great coaches need great players. Even Tyronn Lue, I'm not even going to bang on Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue he's got LeBron James, but you still got to coach LeBron James. It's been shown. You still got to coach Kevin Love. It's been shown. You still got to coach Kyrie Irving. It's been shown. People bang on Steve Kerr too. Steve Kerr, anybody could coach that team. Well, Mark Jackson was coaching that team. He couldn't get him out of the second round. He was coaching that team. And I know people want to say, well, Walton had to talk. Walton coached him well. Well, Walton's in the system. Walton's part of the culture. He knows what to say and do. Doesn't mean you can put any coach there, because you put any coach there, you are going to bring a different culture. Phil Jackson comes from a winning culture. When they won their championship in 73, Phil was playing with Dave the Butcher. Phil was playing with Willis Reed. Phil was playing with other really good NBA players and was battling the Celtic players of that era. Think about the Celtic players of the 70s. The Laker players of the 70s was night in and night out battling those guys, the 76ers. Go look at the good teams in the early 70s, early to mid 70s. Phil was playing. He wasn't a bum. He wasn't a guy that didn't get on the court play. He knows what he was doing back then. That's why he was part of a championship team. When they won the championship, he was sweaty as hell. I mean, he played. He wasn't dry. He didn't have the dry white man hair. He had the wet, scraggly, bit sweaty white man hairdo going. Phil played. You get to the NBA, you bring a culture with you. Yeah, I have Jordan, but I have to figure out Scotty. I have to figure out Craig. I got to figure out Livingston. I got to figure out Cartwright. I got to figure out Horace, Paxson, BJ. There's other players you got to figure out. You don't just get to go, oh, well, I got Jordan. All right, go win, guys. It doesn't work that way. It showed against Detroit. It showed against the Celtics. Once they got their culture, once their culture was in place, it took off from there. And then what he did is he took the culture and then he went to LA with it. Yeah, I got Kobe and Shaq, but most of you who don't like Kobe, definitely, it's amazing. Phil's not that good because he had Kobe and Shaq, but then you want to say, well, there's 5, 6, 7 other great players before Kobe Bryant. 7, 8, 9, 10 players. Kobe would be like number 10 on my list. So 9 players. Well, Phil has a top 10 guy, but you won't have Shaq in that top 10. Phil won with those guys when they couldn't win without him. So I think Phil gets a bit of a raw deal in this situation. And, you know, I would tell Carmelo Anthony, toughen up a little bit. And that may be even wrong saying that, because Carmelo hasn't come out and said anything. You have other people speaking for Carmelo right now, which needs to stop. People need to stop trying to speak for Carmelo Anthony. I understand he has a wife. I understand he has a child. I understand his kids go to school and they might have to hear this from classmates who are Knick fans and dads who are Knick fans of said classmates and students. So they hear what their dad says at home and they may bring it to school. This is what you sign up for, though. So I'm not going to try to protect Carmelo on that. This is what you sign up for. It is what it is. But when you start to look at Phil and you start to try to bang on Phil, there's a reason why Phil right now can still go get another job. Phil could probably come back here and turn the Lakers over. He would bring a certain culture back. But once again, you got to get rid of the guy that's created the culture right now and the busboy. Just like Dolan. There's a reason why the Spurs are so good. There's a reason why Pittsburgh is a 10, 11 win team every year. We can talk about the Patriots, but then everybody, of course, will throw Spygate and Deflategate in it who don't like the Patriots. But you can't tell me there's still not a coach. Why do the players still talk about the culture? Chad Johnson doesn't play. Chad Johnson can't get another job right now. All he does is talk about the culture. Randy Moss doesn't play anymore. Randy Moss can't go get another job playing football for anybody in the picture right now. But all he still does is talk about the culture. They're not doing it because the Patriots are paying them on the side or on the table to do it. They're doing it because they were there. They know the culture. There's a winning culture. But you have to have the top guy change his mind about how he's going to run things and how he's going to be. When you're getting guys arrested and thrown out, man, when you're throwing guys out on the street that have done nothing but been good and supported and tried to help and tried to lend a helping hand and were great for you, you're running a bad business. You're running a really, really bad business. Phil Jackson knows how to win, guys. He knows how to get guys to win. This is the same man that wrote a book about Kobe. Listen, I mean, just put that in perspective. We all know about the book. He called him all types of names, uncoachable, immature, a brat. Like, he went in on Kobe, but was still able to come back, get in his head again. Part of that is Kobe wants to win so bad. I'm pretty sure it's like, you said that stuff, whatever. But right now, I want to win more. So I'm not going to, if I hold that grudge against you, I'm not going to win right now. That's how much winning is to him. I'll let that go. I just want to win again. And I want to win as the man. I want to win without Shaq. I want my name to be up there with the greats of all time. Fine, no problem. Let's go do it. And then they did it. Not only did they do it, they went to 3 straight finals. Not only did they do it back to back, they went to 3 straight. That's called culture, guys. That's called coaching and culture that you set. This isn't Phil Jackson's fault. Who else is he going to go get? He didn't really have a choice but to try to make a trade. They're not a free agent destination no more. So he tried to go get some guys that they thought they still might have a little something left to fit and put around Porzingis and Carmelo. So you bring in D Rose. Now, I can honestly just admit, D Rose I think that man is checked out of basketball. I honestly do believe D Rose is checked out of basketball. Which is really, really hard for me to really put on a player, because it's not fair to always put that on a player. But I think D Rose is completely just checked out of basketball. But then you also bring in Joakim Noah. But who else you gonna go get? You need a rebounder. You don't have any size. You need an energy guy. He's been good. He hasn't been any problem in the locker room. His teammates love him. He's been a good Samaritan. He's going to work hard. He's going to hustle. It's starting to look like some of those injuries that he faced the last few years, they're starting to catch up with him. Or he's just never fully healed from them, and he's still healing. Sometimes in sports, when you get injured, you just have to rest. You don't move. You don't do nothing. You don't come back too early. You just have to simply rest. Maybe that's why Noah looks as bad as he looks right now. But what else was Phil going to do as the GM? What else was he going to do? It's not a free agent. I just said it a minute ago. It's not a free agent destination anymore. So you got to make trades. No one wants to give him credit that he's unloaded a lot of bad salaries and a lot of bad cap. If he does, whatever coach comes in next, if Phil does leave, whatever GM comes in next, he did clean the cupboard for you. Because he understands it takes a certain culture that you have to create to win. It starts with how much are you paying these guys? It's guaranteed money. NFL, way different. Cut a guy, he might be selling insurance a week and a half later. He might be up in Canada trying out for, a CFL team 2 weeks from now. NBA guys can go sit home, guaranteed money. But you got to clear this cap. You got to clear this money that you've promised to these players that aren't been productive, haven't been productive, and weren't going to be productive for you. So if anything, he cleaned up the cupboard for you. We don't know if Jeff can coach or not. We haven't been able to see it. They started out well this year. Why? Everybody was healthy. Everybody's got a chip on their shoulder. You got a few people. Noah's got something to prove. Rose got something to prove. Porzingis wants to get better. Carmelo's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. You brought in players that you thought could work because of trade. Because you can't get free agents there. I don't think people just want to come play for that guy. It's like the Lakers right now. Don't blame Kobe for the contract. Each and every one of you would have took the damn contract too. But who else they weren't getting anybody else. Their free agent signings, guys, have been Roy Hibbert, Timothy Mozgov, and Luol Deng. Those are their three big free agent signings in the last 3 years, guys. Oh, that's because no one wants to play with Kobe. No, nobody wants to play for the culture that's there right now. That's why nobody wants to go there. Kobe was on his way out of the door. You mean to tell me you want to come take the Laker franchise if you knew we were going to get another big superstar and you knew Kobe was gone this was his last year? He was gone in a year? I'll take that all day long. To come to LA? I don't have to live here. I don't have to live in these expensive ass mansions and stuff. But it's funny. Most of the big money athletes, they have houses all over Los Angeles. I live on Mansions Row in Sherman Oaks. There's mansions on the street I live in. There's athletes, actors, and Hollywood people that live in these, and some of them don't even live here all year long. Don't tell me that you wouldn't have done that. Well, you just got 1 year with Kobe. If you're basing off 1 year why you won't go somewhere, that's just a bad business decision. It's just my opinion. But it's the leadership that's here. Phil Jackson's not the leadership there. Phil Jackson is the general manager. He's the operations guy. He's leading the operation. But Dolan is still the culture setter there. And that's why things are so bad there. And it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get uglier before it gets prettier. I guarantee you that. And I don't think you go hire Mark Jackson. What's that going to do? Somebody explain to me what hiring Mark Jackson's going to do. Remember, Melo's got a no-trade clause, guys. So if there's a trade that's made before the 19th, he signed off on it. Or the 20th or 21st, whatever the trade deadline is. He signed off on it because he's got a no-trade clause. So if he ends up out of there, don't look at management. He signed off on it. He wanted out of there. And Melo, you got to see the writing on the wall, man. I'm going to defend Melo in this too, because Melo's acting like a professional, and I can respect that. Does Melo really want to win a championship? I don't know, guys. I'm not Carmelo Anthony. Does he care about that guaranteed money? What NBA player doesn't, guys? So to say he's all about the money, most of you are all about the money. Most of you would leave your job or stay in a bad situation right now if it was going to pay you more than a better situation, or leaving your job for a worse situation. Some people will leave a good situation for a worse situation because it pays more. We do it all the time. It just depends on how much you value money and how much financial success and stability you need to run your family. That's what life, as far as finances, all comes down to. All comes down to. There's a reason why the former player talks on TV. There's a reason why the neighborhood dope dude won't stop dealing dope, even though he made 500 grand last year. But he spent 375 last year. So he's got to maintain that financial stability to keep his lifestyle going. You don't see guys take less money until later in their career. I don't see anybody doing it at 23, 24, 25, 26. You don't see 25-year-olds taking less money. They're trying to get their money now. Why? Because the first 3 years, they were spending a lot of money in the league. They never had that kind of money before. They never been able to walk to the Ferrari dealership and walk away with a Ferrari by handing them a credit card to put it on. It's a new lifestyle for them. So therefore, you have to keep that lifestyle going. It's expensive to live in New York. Carmelo probably takes care of a lot of people. There's probably a lot of rent and a lot of mortgage and a lot of cell phone bills and a lot of clothing allowances and sneaker trips and clothing shopping trips and vacation trips and fellas in Vegas and fellas in Puerto Rico. Fellas back home in B-More. Fellas out in New York visiting. There's a lot of money that's spent to keep a lifestyle going. So to say, well, he's all about the money, I don't know that man's lifestyle. He does have a child. He is married. Shit, maybe Lala spent some bread. She always look good when I see her. Them outfits, them shoes, them heels, them jeans, them shirts, that jewelry, that makeup, that stuff's not cheap. Getting your hair done, staying fly, it's not cheap, especially on that grand stage. So I'm not going to say he's all about the money. We're all about the money. It depends on how much money you think you need or how much money you know you need to maintain your financial stability level in life to take care of your family. And to have some fun. I always joke around and say I'm pushing my comedy out here. It's getting better and better. There's going to be an agent signing this year. There's going to be some type of TV appearance for me this year. I know this coming. I prayed about it. It's in my heart. I'm giving it to God. God's setting the dominoes up. I'm just plucking them and knocking them down. When I see him set one up, I go pluck it and knock it down. And then it knocks another one down, sets another one up. That's how I'm living out. There's going to be a day where I'm going to have that type of money that I thought that I could get by moving out to LA and doing comedy and acting and doing sports talk radio and TV. I always joke that all I need is $1,500 in the pocket, some fresh kicks, a fitted, my cross chain, and a nice watch. My wife and kids can have the rest of it. And whatever it takes to maintain that, that's as far as I need to go. If it takes 2.4, 3.8, 4.2, a million here, an endorsement deal here, a commercial, if that's what it takes to maintain my financial stability, then that's what I'm going to do. If somebody goes, well, V only took that Viagra commercial because it's all about the money. No, the Viagra commercial, first of all, it's a great product. I've never used it before, but I'm all for fellas being able to keep keep it going in life so you can please your woman. I'm all for that. And just so you can pleasure yourself. I'm a man, okay? At the end of the day, I'm getting something out of this too. You know what I'm saying? So I would do it. I would do a Viagra endorsement. Not because they're paying. Number one, I believe in a product. I think it's a good product. And just the goofiness of me is like, man, I want old dudes to keep being able to, handle their business. That way your wife don't go mess with the young dude on you. See how I'm telling you, chess. Never checkers, people. But if they pay me and it's a certain amount of money that I need to keep going the way that I've been living and going in the way that my fiance has been setting up our finances and saving our money and putting our money away, and my mother, who's my financial advisor, who's investing my money, if everything can stay where it's at, that's all I need. I don't need to go find the $50 million deal. If it comes, great. I'm a giver. I'm going to donate some of that. I'm not keeping all that money. There's homeless. There's hungry. There's lowly educated. There's so much that we can be done in our community, man. I'm not keeping all that money. I got blessed with this. What I'm gonna do with 50 million? Just go what? Switch my car every year? Have a Porsche, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, like all those different cars. Just give me my twin turbo extended double turbo Carrera 911 Porsche. That's all I need. As far as the fast street, the luxury street car, that's all I need. I don't need a Lamborghini. You know how expensive it is to upkeep a Lamborghini? That's just a waste of money. There's people that make $40,000 a year that drive a Porsche. I'm in that box right now in my life. So to say Carmelo Anthony is just about the money, I can't form my mouth and say that's unfair to Carmelo Anthony. I don't know that man's living situation. He wanted out of New York, though, and I'm going to go back, out of Denver. I'm going to go back to that world brand. He wanted out of Denver to go to New York so he can brand himself. Big market. Yeah, he used to live there when he was a kid, but he's got a tattoo that says WB on it. That means West Bmore. That's a tattoo on his arm. I don't know if he has a New York tattoo. And if he does, then he got it recently. Or he got it when he got to New York. But it wasn't on his arm it wasn't on his body, it was in Syracuse. The WB was the first thing that he got just about when he came out of high school. When he was in the NBA, that first tattoo popped up, it was WB, West Baltimore. That's what he reps. If I ever got a neighborhood tattoo, it's Dale City. It's not Dumfries. Dumfries is where I spent 1 year of high school. Dale City is where I grew up. There's a difference. They're bordering towns, but I'm from Dale City, Virginia. I'm not from Dumfries, Virginia. But Carmelo Anthony wanted out to brand, so you got to brand. You became this big mega star and the great businessman. You married Lala, who's a former MTV VJ, and now she's a pretty good actress in different movies and TV specials and things. You got what you wanted out of that part of it. I don't think Carmelo looked at the basketball brand of it. I don't think it's so prestigious to have the Knick jersey on right now. Just like the Lakers. Like when you look at a Laker game, guys, have you seen that team? When you watch the Knicks play, have you seen it? And yes, they have some flashes. They have some good nights. They have some nights where they do some good things. But have you seen the overall team, guys? The overall team is just putrid. The culture there is so bad. You can see it starting to weigh on the players. And as I mentioned earlier, poor Jeff Hornacek. Look at that man's face some games. He looks defeated. The man isn't even through his first year there. He isn't even through his first year there, and it just looks like he's just like, oh my God, I wanna get out of here. I want to get out of here so bad. That's what it looks like. It just looks like he wants out so bad. Or let me just get out of this night. Bad things going on with the Knicks. And matter of fact, I'm going to hold that for the next segment when we come back. When we come back on VJs and Sports Live Content Live on Spreaker.com, I'm going to tell you guys the best prediction that I made in the last 3 years in all of sports. The best prediction that I made in the last 3 years, and I made it about 2.5, 3 years ago. It doesn't ring any more true today. It's the best prediction. It's the best call. It's the best foreseeing thing that I said on my show. I said it on Mike Hill's show on Fox Sports 1 Radio. Live one Sunday with him and Kurt Morrison before Kurt Morrison left. And they have another guy over there that does this. I said it to Mark Willard from Fox. I said this to Rob Parker from Fox Sports 1. I've said this to Carl Webb from ESPN. And there's a certain fan base that can back me on this because I brought it up about a week ago. And pretty much everybody responds like, yeah, you did, dog. But I'm going to tell you guys when we come back, the best prediction and call that I ever looked into the VJ Sports Batcave crystal ball and made. And it doesn't stand any more true than it is today. All that and more coming up. VJs and Sportsmanlike Conduct live on Spreaker.com. This has been a great show today, man. You guys are actually up in here hardcore. BS3 Sports, man. This is a good surprise, bro. Never seen my man Dat Ninja. Whoa. Denise, still a Falcon fan. MNC. You still should be a Falcon fan, man. Don't let these people run you off. Take a quick break, guys, man. When we come back, we'll get into that prediction that I made. And I also want to talk Carolina, Duke, Lakers, OKC, Durant, some other NBA news. VJs and Sports Live Content, Spreaker.com. I always love that track right there. When I do a big time comedy show, man, I'm coming out to that joint right now. DJs on Sports for Life Conduct, Spreaker.com, live right now on Spreaker.com. Always remember, guys, catch us later, podcast it on iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio picked us up and podcast us for after we go live here on Spreaker.com, man. Just talking New York Knicks, talking Phil Jackson, Dolan, Carmelo, Oakley, just what a mess it is right now. But there's some other things that I want to touch in, man, and I got a special guest coming in right now, man. A mentor of mine. I don't know if he knows this, but I look at this gentleman as a mentor. Got a chance to meet him in person at NABJ in Washington, D.C., at the W Hotel at the Bleacher Report party. He is from Fox Sports 1, a really, really good dude, man. You guys already know who this gentleman is. I could say I can give him all the accolades and things that I can. I own some wings, too. He outbet me on the Green Bay-Dallas game, but we still going to talk about that Tom Brady thing. Maybe not today, but my man Rob Parker's in the building right now. What's going on, Rob?
VJ, what's happening? How you?
I'm blessed, man. You know me, man. Just crazy as hell, doing what I do, running my mouth.
That's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's jump right into it, man. I was just talking about the New York Knicks and how culture. Rob, I'm a big culture guy, and I believe in all of sports. If you don't have a good culture that starts at the very top, I don't care who your GM is. I don't care who your head coach is. I don't care who your point guard, who your pitcher, or who your quarterback is. You are going to go through these problems. Phil Jackson, Dolan, Carmelo. Who do you put most of this blame on?
Dolan starts with ownership because it's been bigger than just the GM or the player. It's been going on since he took over the team. I mean, had a falling out with Isaiah, with Larry Brown, with Stephon Marbury. I could go on and on and on. Anybody who, Marv Albert, the legendary broadcaster who did the Knicks games forever. So I have to put it on Dolan. I mean, obviously, Phil Jackson's not getting his job done on his end, but this is bigger than Phil. This comes from the top.
I said, and I know you know a gentleman by the name of Mike Hill. I was on Mike Hill's show about 2.5 years ago over there on Fox Sports 1 on the Sundays when he does a show and he used to do with Kurt Morrison. I said right there live on his show that the Knicks needed to trade Carmelo Anthony. They needed to do it right now because they would never get any big value from him later. It's going to create a mess. If Porzingis is your future and they had that pick coming up, if this is where you want to go, you got to move Melo. And everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone thought I was a hater. And now look, you got teams that know they want to move him. And they simply just can't. The Celtics, from what we hear, said no thanks. The Clippers, from what we hear, say no thanks. And then there's the rumblings that LeBron wants Cleveland to get it done. But Cleveland also said no thanks because they don't want to give up Kevin Love. If you're the Knicks, what do you do with Carmelo Anthony? And how do you think he's handled this entire situation?
Well, it's been too public. That's a big problem. And it just seems as if Phil is leaking stuff. And it just looks bad and sounds bad and feels bad. Especially when people were thinking, and even Derrick Rose said this was one of the super teams in the NBA, and they're 10 games under 500, 12th in the East. You know, you start saying, dude, really? Is this what it comes down to? And the poor people of New York paying all that money to go watch this bad product and watch this team is rough. So if you're the Knicks, I don't know what you can do. Remember, Carmelo has a no-trade clause. He has the right to veto any trade. If he doesn't want to feel like he's being run out of the city, remember, Carmelo was born in New York, even though I know he grew up in Baltimore, but he was born in New York and doesn't want to feel like he wants to get run out of town, then you'll have to just deal with him. That's why going public and doing that stuff, this should have been done behind closed doors. Talk to Melo, find out where his head is. Is he willing to make a trade? We need to do something. This isn't working. And handle it like that. The way Phil's handled has been terrible. I don't blame Melo for the pushback. I get it. Nobody wants to be run out of town. Nobody.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that no one wants to be run out of town, but I think Carmelo has made enough there. He's built his brand enough there, and I'm going to take up for him because I just like the way he's handled himself. He hasn't really said the wrong thing. He keeps trying to go out and play, and he keeps trying to brush it all off. But we know he wants out. I feel like he wants out. And I just thought it would have been a great business move if they had have done this before. I got a chance to catch you this morning on another programming show, and you spoke about the resting of players. And I remember, and I text you right there, that I've been saying this for years, that it upsets me when guys rest. And of course, I'm an older guy, you're an older guy. I lean on, this just isn't what we grew up seeing. You didn't see Jordan rest against a bad Nuggets team back then, in an 82-game season when it's game 67. No, Jordan wanted to go out and hang 50 on that bad Nuggets team. We've seen this with Kobe. He had that same type of thing, too, where he didn't want to sit out. What's happened to the NBA? I put it on softness, and I know that's a little easy and a little broad, but I just don't know where else to go with it. What's happened to the league where guys sit now and it's rest? Like, I'm resting. I know the years and the minutes, but seriously.
No, it's about being a big spoiled baby, and these guys don't want to work and don't understand what it is to be professional and what they do. Their job description is player. You play. That's what you do for a living. It makes no sense when you work 80 some odd days a year compared to everybody else who has to work, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I mean, it's silly. And I'm not saying you got to play every minute of every game or anything like that. But this, to me, borders on consumer fraud. And I'm serious when I say this. And people save their money up to buy tickets to go see LeBron, and you go and you drive 300 miles or whatever it is with your son, and you're going to see LeBron, and LeBron decides he's not hurt, he's not injured, he's not sick, just that he wants to rest, or he didn't make the trip with the team. I don't think it's right. And the league really, I hope attorney generals start to look at this and start to allow people to get a refund, get their money back. And I think if you start having to give money back to people, I think that would change everything, because I think they would play those guys, even if it's for 15 or 20 minutes or whatever on those nights that you don't want to play a lap. You would play those guys, and they would understand. They have total disregard of the fan. If I'm an NBA fan, I feel violated. I feel disrespected. It's just not right. It's not fair to ask people to spend money on tickets and then not play. It's just not right.
And I learned something from you today watching your appearance, watching your piece on TV today. I did not know that on Broadway, if you go to see like a big time person and they don't perform, you get a refund, or they'll give you a ticket to when, you use the term the understudy. You don't go to see the understudy. It's like the backup quarterback. I don't go to see the backup quarterback. I go to see Cam. I go to see Matt Ryan. So I learned something that I did not know that, because I've been to the Alvin Ailey Dance Company ballet before, and one of their top premier female ballerinas did not perform that night, and we weren't allowed to get a refund or anything like that in New York City. So I learned something from you guys listening to that.
Yeah, today. And Broadway, that's like for most theaters, because people spend big money on Broadway, and if I want to go see Hamilton, and when Miranda was the lead, and I go on my night, he's off that night or something, I don't want to hear that. I want to go see the star who's on the marquee in that show. Same thing. You go see you watch these celebrity shows, award shows and all that. Remember that when they used to say, so-and-so's going to perform on the Grammys or whatever, or
exactly.
or these star shows. And then they had to go back and start saying it's scheduled to appear instead of saying who's going to be there, because it's false advertising. You're misleading people into believing that someone's going to be there and they're not there. And I think really the NBA is really teetering on this when they're letting people just rest. Rest is not acceptable when people are laying out money. If you're willing to give people their money back, then you can rest all the players you want. And on those nights that LeBron and some of these guys don't want to play, and you can have a half-empty arena and people have the right to walk out, I bet you wouldn't see it.
I'll let you go on these last two things. But speaking of the NBA, big game this weekend. Kevin Durant goes back to Oklahoma City. It's the biggest story going right now, which actually shows you how bad the NBA is, where the biggest story is a player going back to a team that's
the league is bad. Oh, God, really bad this year.
Horrible. It's horrible. And I've been saying it all year long. I've been pouring all my basketball into college. But the topic is, should the fans cheer? Should they not? I'm more of a I don't care. Doesn't matter whether they do it through it's classy if you do it through the introductions. And then when the ball tips up, like Barkley said, then you can boo them all game long. But you show some appreciation or you don't. I honestly don't care. Where do you stand with? Should they boo him? Should they cheer him? How should they treat Durant on Saturday?
I think they have a right to boo him from this standpoint. I always think, and I saw it in Detroit, when the Pistons won the championship in 2004, and then Larry Brown wound up leaving a year later. They went back and lost to the Spurs in 2005, but Larry Brown left after that, and people were upset. They had a great thing going. They had gone to the Eastern Conference Finals 6 years in a row, and people cheered Larry Brown when he came back, even though they were mad at him. But the difference was Larry Brown got the job done. Larry Brown delivered the championship that people in Detroit wanted. If Kevin Durant had left after they had won a title and said, okay, my mission is done here, I want to do something else, people would cheer him. He didn't leave them anything. He decked out before getting the job done, and I think that's why people have a right to boo. It's the same thing when LeBron left. People had a right to be mad in that LeBron hadn't finished the job yet, hadn't won the city the championship, and he walked out on people from his own town. It's basically, after Cleveland, his own home area. So people weren't happy about that, and I don't blame fans if they don't want to cheer somebody who walked out on them without completing the job.
I'll let you go on this, man. White House visits have been a big topic lately, too. I kind of like what I heard Nelly say yesterday, and there's other people that don't know this, the whole vote now thing, and Tom Brady not going for Obama. I'm a very socially aware and socially conscious African-American black man, as you know, and so are you. It's one of the reasons why I respect you the way that I do. But could we actually see this become actual trends, especially with the office with the guy that's in office right now? Could we see this more of a trend with minority players saying and being very vocal about it? I'm not going.
I can see it, absolutely. I mean, I can see it, and as time goes on, I think more and more patriots, at least African-American patriots, will consider it. They'll probably get a little pressure from family and friends who are saying, why are you doing that, dude? Why would you go, to the White House considering the circumstance and who's the current president and all that? So I do see that as definitely something that can happen. And everybody has a right to do what they want. I respect people's rights. If you don't feel comfortable and don't want to go, I don't think you should have to go. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. My man Rob Parker, Fox Sports 1. I appreciate the love, man. We'll grab those wings tomorrow.
All right, BJ, we'll do that. We'll set it up.
I appreciate it, brother.
Stay well.
Yes, sir. That's my guy, man. Rob Parker, Fox Sports 1. Just wanted to get some things out there with him, man. The whole White House thing is what we're going to get into next. I beat up the Knicks and talked about the Knicks enough. We're going to leave the Knicks alone. We know the Knicks are just a dumpster fire right now, and I'm not happy. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm not the guy that's happy about the Knicks not being good right now, because I actually think, and I've said this before, I think the NBA is better when certain franchises are good, and I think the Knicks are one of those franchises. When the Knicks are good, I just believe that the NBA is better. Madison Square Garden, there's nothing better in basketball than a tight game at the Garden, and that Oregon is going off for defense with the defense chant. And, the Knicks getting a stop or the Knicks hitting the three, or the years where they wave the white towels in the playoffs. I just think it's a great atmosphere. I'm an atmosphere guy. That's why I go to Dodger games. I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm not an NL fan at all. My team is the Rangers. I'm an AL guy. I got to drive all the way out to Orange County out here to go watch and play the Angels when the Angels come in. Watch and play the Angels when they are on the road and come into town. I don't get to watch in there, but I go to Chavez Ravine because of the atmosphere. There's no jumbotron that shows the game, which means you can't have your face in your phone. You got to actually watch the field. Your eyes have to be on the field. They'll show replays, but during the game, there's no jumbotron that's showing the actual live game that's going on at that point in time. It's the atmosphere of it. It's an old relic stadium. It's dirty. It's beat up. It's beat down. I've gone on radio and said before, I think they need a new stadium out here, especially with the way new stadiums are popping up all over the major leagues, all over the NBA, all over the NFL. The Falcons are opening a new stadium next year. Minnesota opened a new stadium this year. You got a new stadium that's being built out here for the Rams and the Chargers. Wherever Oakland decides to go, Oakland's going to get a new stadium. If Seattle gets a basketball team, they got to find some arena or some way to play them out there. Like, everybody's getting a new stadium. You got to replace some of them. I think you leave Wrigley alone, and I think you leave Fenway alone. Even the Yankees built a new stadium. They didn't build a new Lambeau, but they upgraded the hell out of it. They didn't build a new Soldier Field, but they upgraded it the hell out of it. But I go there because of atmosphere. Knick games, when they're good in the playoffs, it's the atmosphere that's good. It's great for TV. It's great for talk. It's great for radio. It's great for writers. It's great for everybody, even the fan. The Knicks are one of those teams that New Yorkers love. They love. Right now, they can bang their chest on the Giants' 2 wins over the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They could bang their chest on the Yankees having 26 championships, even though we see the Yankees completely going the opposite way right now. But they love those Knicks, and they don't get to say nothing good about the Knicks. Nothing. I've seen New Yorkers wear more Knick gear than any other team. More than Giant gear, more than Yankee gear. Yankee fitted, if that counts, everybody's got one of those. I'll rock one just about every day on a fashion statement tip. Nothing to me, no fitted looks better than a navy fresh Yankee. 59.50, 7 3 Forbes. Yeah, I got a big dome on me, you guys. Take a quick break when we come back. I want to get back into White House visits. Talk a little about the Lakers. Magic Johnson joining in. He wants more power. Duke Carolina last night. And we'll get into a little bit of LeBron's missed dunk and flopping and flailing all over the ground and wanting to call when he wasn't even close to being touched. All that and more coming up. VJs on Sports with Conduct. Spreaker.com. VJs on Sports Like Conduct, live on Spreaker.com. Appreciate everybody for joining. I'm your host, VJ Raiders, because I always think I am. Just got off the line, have my man Rob Parker on for Fox Sports 1 talking about the Knicks situation, White House visits, and OKC accepting Kevin Durant back into town this Saturday night. It's going to be the ABC ESPN special primetime game this Sunday night. We were finished up talking about White House visits, and are we going to see this become more prevalent and players not go of African American descent and different other minority groups deciding not to go to the White House for championships, recognition, and giving the president a jersey with the number of the president that he is, with his name on the back of it, and doing that whole thing. I want to start by saying I never really understand and knew why this was so important. Like, why was this such a big thing? Why was this so important? What was this really all about? Are we talking about the actual players getting this experience? And we know there's been instances where Craig Hodges with the Bulls showed up and handed a letter to George Bush, explaining a lot of things that need to be fixed and need to be changed. And from that point on, he was railroaded out of the NBA. We see Martellus Bennett not going. Devin McCourty already stated saying they will not be going to the White House because of the president that's in office right now. I think we're going to see something so precedent that we've never seen before. It's going to show you guys that the wrong guy is running the country right now. It's going to show you that the complete wrong guy is running the country right this second. When you have this type of stance where people are like, I'm not going. I'm not showing up. I'm not going. I think it's something that we're going to see really get bigger and bigger because of the guy that's in office. That Ninja says, great point on Craig Hodges. Nobody remembers, and unfortunately, nobody gives a damn. And that's the bad part about it, that Ninja. That Ninja, come on, bruh. I'm deeper than you know, man. I'm telling you. You and I agree on more things than you know, man. Trust me. I understand your angle, and I understand where you come from on your views and your sports talk. We agree on a lot of things, bruh. Especially when it comes to being socially conscious. I'm a black man. I know you guys see the picture. You see light skin, blue eyed dude. Neither one of my parents are Caucasian American. My parents are both black. My heritage is black, and we have some Dominican down the line. So I'm with you on that, bruh. But Craig Hodges showed up to the White House with a letter and was railroaded out of the NBA after that. Somebody made the call. Craig Hodges was hitting threes. Craig Hodges, if you remember, showed up to All-Star Weekend because he needed that prize money in the three-point shootout and won it wearing a uniform that said NBA on it because he was a free agent. He didn't have a team. Check that one right there. I just went deep. Get your scuba gear out, guys. That's how he was railroaded out of the NBA. The simple fact that he was at an All-Star week. Right now, a free agent couldn't come into the All-Star weekend and do anything right now. They wouldn't allow it. Craig Hodges needed that prize money. That's how bad they railroaded that man. They probably messed with some of his funds, some of his ends. That's what they do to us. When they want to make a statement, they take your money from you. They take your fame. They take your ability to make your money from you. That's how they hit us. We can't take the ability for them to make their money away from them. We don't control that much. We don't control that much to do that. But with a lot of views that the president has in the way he's picking his cabinet, you've got to really think, guys, that there might be some white Caucasian players who say, I do not agree with that guy. I'm sorry. I'm not going. I can't support that. We are in an era of life in America right now where it looks like the civil rights is without all the police and the dogs. And I don't want to disrespect those people that went through that. It's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm talking about the division. The division of our nation. No, we're not getting sprayed. No, we're not getting hung and lynched. No, we're not being attacked by dogs and German shepherds from the police. No, we're getting shot. We're just getting blatantly shot. So I don't want to disrespect my ancestors. I don't want to disrespect my relatives. I don't want to disrespect the people that actually went through it. I'm speaking on the division portion of it. We live in a divided. It hasn't been this visually and openly divided since the civil rights. What should show you that times never did change, guys and ladies. Times never did change. If they changed so much, what the hell? We went back that fast during one election, an 8-month span of campaigning. That really, because campaign picks up about 8 months, at about the 8 month to November mark. So I would say about January, February, campaigning picks up real hardcore when you talk about when you're talking about the next guy coming in. Campaigning picks up real hard. You mean the nation just changed that fact? No, that's what it always was. It's called closet, you know what. It's called closet, you know what. It's called closet, you know what. Whatever adjective or noun that you have to describe after closet, insert there. But I think we're going to see a new wave of where it's not one guy or two guys. It's going to be 4 or 5. And here's the thing. Could we get to an era of where all the African-American players say, bro, we're sticking together. None of us are going. That's half your football team. That's most of your NBA basketball team. Who the hell's going if the Cavs, if all the black Cavs players say, well, we're not going. They win the championship, they say we're not going. Who are you sending? Kevin Love? Dellavedova gone. Dellavedova's European. He might not like him. Dellavedova might not go. Kevin Love might not go. You know what the administration will say? We're banning it. We're doing away with it. We don't have time for it. They'll find some way, of course, to make it seem like they made the call. No, society made the call. The community made the call. The citizens made the call. I wouldn't go. If I'm a pro athlete right now, I'm not going. I don't care what my agent says. I don't care what any family member says. This is my personal preference. We are on the side of drawing. We're in the era of picking sides. The line has been drawn in the sand. Line in the sand. Great weightlifting song by a group named Motorhead. Go listen to it. It's a rock song, but I'm telling you, man, when you lifting heavy, when you're on that bench press, or you doing that, overhead press, bench press, squatting. Squat is great for squatting. It's great for deadlift too. It's awesome for deadlift. But line in the sand. I see the line in the sand. Time for me to realize who I am. Looking back to see where I stand. Evolution. That's the lyrics of some of the lyrics of the song. I see the line in the sand. Time for me to find out who I am. Looking back to see where I stand. Evolution. We are always evolving as a society. We're always evolving as a people. We all would agree with that, correct? So you can start to see this thing kind of really get bigger and bigger and bigger every year, where a lot of players just aren't going. That's going to show you. That's another form of protest. Right now, our country's in protest. We are in a state of protest, people. Have you guys ever seen this before? Director Secretary Betsy, whatever her name, can't get into a school earlier this morning. The students, not the teachers. The students, not the administration. The students, not the faculty. Not the coaches, the athletic coaches. The students got in the way. It would not let her into school. That's where we are. People are drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is where I stand. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You have to upset the apple cart. If you do not upset the apple cart, nothing changes. The problem is it's very, very, very difficult to upset the apple cart. The apple cart of America is very difficult to do, especially for black athletes. That's why they don't speak out. You get used to living a lifestyle. You get used to a level of celebrity. You get used to a level of money, a level of income, a level of accessibility to the things that the average American will never, ever, ever see or touch in their entire life. And a lot of people don't want to lose that. A lot of athletes, a lot of black, they don't want to lose that. We've been conditioned to think anything we have, if we lose it, we'll just never get it. We'll never get it back again. We got to hold on to it. That's why you see so many successful non-black business people who go break up 3 and 4 times, 5 times. They're not afraid to lose it. They know they'll get it back. Mostly because it's their system. It's meant for them to get it back. But just the mindset, though. Just the mindset itself. That's why I think a lot of our players don't speak out. Listen, Michael Bennett and his brother Martellus might say some things I don't agree with on other topics, but when it comes to this, I ride with you, bruh. I'm waiting on Cam. Under Armour CEO. Donald Trump is a great asset to America. My man Steph, he stepped up. He said, yeah, if you take the ET off of it, yeah. I liked it. Clean, didn't curse, no vulgar, less than 10 words. Very effective. I like it. Maybe can't get out of his deal. I don't know. I asked that on Facebook the other day. Can they get out of their deal? Can they get out of that deal? But I'm waiting on Cam. Waiting on you, Cam. We waiting on you, bro. We need you, Cam. Like on some real dog. We need you, but Cam already kind of showed where his interest was. Maybe not his belief, but interest. I believe pro athletes have a belief and then they have an interest. Normally, interest, business, the word business comes before the word interest. My business interest. I respect guys for wearing t-shirts. I respect guys for wearing shooting shirts with messages on them. Things of that nature. NBA players, we've seen it. I respect that. But they can do a lot more. And I'm not the guy that's saying that they need to or they have to or there's responsibility. I do believe it's slightly your responsibility if your community that is being killed, oppressed, murdered, raped, mistreated, systematically destroyed. If those are the ones that support you the hardest, you have to speak up for them at some point. You have to. There were plenty of Cuban baseball players and analysts who were not so great and happy and glad that we have broken this Cuba barrier because they have an up-close and personal relationship with Cuba. They understand what happened down there with Fidel Castro in Cuba. The baseball game down there last year, it was cool. It was great. It was a good feel story. It felt good for a day. But there were a lot of people from Cuba who did not have the great feeling Americans had. This great release, this great, oh man, now we can go to Cuba. Their memories of Cuba, they're not very good. Firing squads, burning homes with women and children and families in them. Basically being a dictatorship. Yeah, you'll hear about some of the good things. Paid for education or had money for education, had money for medical and things of that nature, and health insurance and things. That's fine. But you can't pour syrup on shit and call it meatloaf. It don't work that way. Can't piss in my face but try to convince me that it's raining. Doesn't go that way. So with White House visits, I honestly do think we're going to see a real broad attack here of players just not going. And I would love to see it. Let's upset the apple cart. We want things to change so bad in our country, but we don't do what it takes to upset the apple cart ever. We never do. And when they did, they changed things. Yeah, they still might have been closet this or closet that, but at least things changed. At least we weren't having dogs sicked on us anymore. At least we weren't being sprayed down with water hoses and things like that. Yeah, there's still people being killed today. That's because they've gotten comfortable again. Society of America has gotten comfortable again with the way that they treat African Americans, what they stand for, the things that they're allowed to get up and say. You cannot find one minority candidate that could have ever had word for word, verbatim, action for action, verbatim of what this campaign what we just saw with this campaign with the president and him win the election. You would never see that in this country. President Obama, I'm a comedian. I made a joke on stage like, yo, man, like, where'd y'all find this? Where y'all find this brother from? Like, did y'all make him? Like, is this what this is? Like, the rumors are the stupid, ignorant rumors about the First Lady, Michelle Obama. Nah, maybe it was President Barack Obama that was made. I don't know no brother this clean, man. Ain't no baby mamas. Ain't got no piercings, no tattoos. But he loved to drink beer. We seen pictures where he puffed trees and he play ball. Like, and he hoop. Like, hoop. Like, old man at the Y, old man game. Game 211, he get at least 4 points, 2 boards, 3 assists. Where the hell y'all find this man at? But then we've gone completely back to this. It's going to affect America. It's going to incite people. And you're going to have athletes that I think that just won't show up. And I like it. I definitely like it. My man Vince Wright finally showed up. What's going on, Big Vince? Quacko's in the building. My man Dwayne Davis is in the building. Talking about some wings. Give you shit, Dwayne. Nah, I do owe you some Mamba wings, dog. Me, you had your shot. I was home for a whole week. I hit you up like you had your shot, B. You were out on a date. I don't even know who says that anymore. Who says date? Dwayne said, I'm out on a date. I'm out on a date, Vernon. I can't meet up. I'm on a date right now. Told him, man, you ain't no, stop lying, man. You ain't got no honey dips. It's my boy, man. I mess with D. One of the few Dumfries dude I got love for forever, man. D is my man. Take a quick break when we come back, guys. What are tall Lakers, Magic. I'll get into some Carolina Duke. I ain't forgot about the game. My squad took the L last night. I'll break the game down, and we'll finish up today's show. All that and more coming up. VJs on Sports with Lycana live on Spreaker.com. VJ's on sportsmanlike conduct, man. Quick break. No more breaks, man. I'm going to just go ahead and just run the rest of this show through. But I just had to take just a real quick one right there. Appreciate everybody in the chat room. My man JB Jennings. What's going on, JB? Appreciate you in. Vince writes in. My man Greco, Dwayne Davis, that ninja. Miss Denise chimed in already. So, and Rashad Mitchell. So we got a good chat room going. And I'm reading some of these things that I'm seeing. And I'm hearing everybody talk about. The Craig Hodges point that I brought up. Appreciate the love on that, fellas. Yes, I am that guy that remembers things like that. Craig Hodges, they tried to say it was a skill set at one point. That's not true. He was a road out of the league. We talked about this with T.O., guys. I just got finished going over this about T.O. When they don't want you in the league anymore because you just ruffle too many feathers, regardless of how you do it, in all honesty, when you're a black athlete or African-American athlete, they can keep you out the league. T.O. probably should have got another job. Maybe not this past season, but maybe 2-3 seasons ago, somebody could have used T.O. He keeps himself in immaculate shape. He's probably better right now than, I would say, 30% of the receivers in the NFL that start on NFL teams right now. There's 32 teams. There's 2 star receivers for most teams, 3 for the other teams that don't start 2. Nobody only starts 1 with 2 tight ends and a fullback. They don't play that football anymore. What is this, 1973? They don't play that football no more. Jim Harbaugh doesn't coach. Jim Harbaugh does, but he doesn't coach every NFL team. So somebody probably could have used him. He's railroaded out of the league, and he's probably going to be held out of the hall for a while because T.O. is a guy who spoke out. He didn't speak out about societal things because our country wasn't divided in his prime. In our prime, our country has always been divided. It just wasn't visually divided. So I'll repeat. I'll correct that. We're always been divided, but right now it's visually divided. You have people yelling. You have people attacking people and yelling out the president's name. That's a division. You did not see multiple cases of blacks or people who supported President Obama attacking people and yelling out Obama. But our country is really divided right now. Craig Hodges got railroaded out of the NBA. Railroaded. But you get a guy like Johnny Manziel, who I supported. I did at Texas A&M. I liked him in school. I said his career was over when he went to Cleveland. That just happens to anybody that plays for the Browns. But I did support Johnny, so I don't want nobody trying to bounce back. Yeah, but that was your boy. I know he was. He was a good football player. But all his antics, multiple issues with his girlfriend, some questions of domestic violence, and drugs and alcoholism, I guarantee you he will be in another NFL uniform at least 3 or 4 more times. Somebody will always take a chance on that kid because they get the ability to have chances taken. They get ability to have chances taken on them. We don't. It's just always been like that. Also, too, real quick sidebar breaking news: the Knicks have fired the director of security for the incident that went down over Charles Oakley the other night. So that was something else that came out of that entire situation, is that now they have somebody's lost their job over this now. I know Vince Wright says they fired the wrong person. They should have fired Phil Jackson. Sorry, Vince. I just don't agree with that, bro. I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but I mentioned it earlier. I don't agree with that. It's not Phil. It's the culture that's been set from the top, man. Dolan's been bad ever since he's been the man running this franchise. It's just like the Lakers right now. Byron Scott, you win 17 games, bro. You got to get fired. You bring in Luke Walton. If Luke Walton doesn't turn this thing around, or if these draft picks don't come through, I know right now the Lakers are still, I know for sure they're still wishing on a dream of free agency. They have not let go of free agency and thought to just say, we're building. Let the fans say what they want to say. I get on Laker fans all the time out here. You've had such a great run. Guess what now? Now the league has changed. So you got to build like everybody else had to when you were allowed to just grab free agents and build like that every year for 25 straight years. You got to do what everybody else had to do for the last 25 years. They have to build. I'm a Pistons fan. No big free agents going to Detroit. We got to build with our young guys. Van Gundy's got to get these young guys meshed together. They're going to have to move Jackson, which I said the day they traded for him. You got to move Jackson and get a better distributing type guard there that can maybe give you 10 or 12 a night. But we need 9 to 10 assists, out of that point guard position. Because you have Morris who can score. You have Drummond who can score. You have Tobias who can score. You got Caldwell Pope who can score. You don't need a scoring point guard with that type of offense. They're getting better. They're in the AC right now. But goodness gracious, what are we going to do? Get swept by Cleveland again? The league is different now. Laker fans have to realize that you have young studs. Some injuries have hurt them. When Nance went down, that's when the losing streak really kicked in. When Larry Nance Jr. went down, that's when the losing streak really kicked in. Because you already were missing D'Angelo. We're looking at Brandon Ingram like, okay, I think the kid can get it. It's also his 3rd month in the NBA, his 4th month in the NBA. Get a kid a break. Got to give guys some time. He's going to have to grow. He's going to have to eat a few ham sandwiches. He's going to have to spend a few 2 and 3 a.m. mornings at Roscoe's eating the Obama special. Just for you guys that don't know, if you go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles out here on Sunset and Gower, the famous one where all the celebrities go and the athletes go to hang out. Anybody that comes in town goes to this Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. You got to order the Obama special, man. That's the first meal you get from there is the Obama special. It's 3 wings, you get 2 sides, and it come with a waffle. My 2 sides is always the mac and cheese and the yams. They got yams almost as good as my mama yams, man. Them things are close. Those are the best restaurant yams I've ever had from any place. Any soul food shack, any soul food spot, big name, small name, mom and pop. Nobody makes better yams than Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Brandon Ingram needs some of them yams. He needs some of them sliced cornbread. Look like a damn half a loaf of bread. They come to sit on your damn table like, nah, man, I ain't asked for pound cake. I wanted cornbread. My man David Hopkins that lives out there in Dumfries back in the DMV. I took him to Roscoe's when he came out here, and he ordered the cornbread. I looked right at him. I said, dog, it's a hunk of cornbread. Like, it's not what you think it's going to be. It's going to be too big. You're not going to eat it all. I'm straight. I want it. I'm straight. All right, bet. They sat that damn piece of cornbread down. I told your ass, tell them you need a knife, because that look like half a cake. Tell them you need a knife. Dwayne, you listening right now, ask David if he ate all that cornbread from Roscoe's. Brandon Ingram needs some of that cornbread. He needs some of them grits. They serve grits at Roscoe's. He needs some of them grits. Some of them Obama specials at 2 and 3 a.m. Ham sandwich or 2. He need to go to Lucille's. Out in Gardena, soul food spot. Get you some smothered turkey wings and mashed potatoes. But you want to think his game's going to be there. You want to think Luke Walton can bring this team around and can get him going. I think you want to believe D'Angelo Russell he's got superstar. I think he's got superstar written all over him. And I'm going to still ride with that. Even in his 1 year at Ohio State, I thought he had superstar written all over him. He's past the Nick Young stuff. Nick Young's even playing defense this year. You have a young team, but you're not better than Portland. You're not better than Houston. You're not better than OKC. You're not better than the Spurs. You're not better than the Clippers. You're not better than Golden State. It's going to take a while. You got to build. It's your turn now. Sooner or later, Tom Brady's going to retire. Belichick's going to retire. And then they're going to have to go through bad years. While everybody had to sit for 15, 16 years and watch you guys, some other team's going to come along with some great stability, with a great quarterback and a great head coach, and they're going to run the AFC for a little while. It's their turn. You got to get your system together. You got to get your culture together. Until you do that, you have no shot at any sport. There's no coincidence that the Cubs won the World Series this year with Epstein leading the way. Culture. He had done it twice with the Red Sox. 2 World Series rings. You come to Chicago, you get the number 1 overall pick, you draft Chris Bryant, you bring in some guys from Boston with you, you bring in some front office guys from Boston that you know, you bring the culture with you. Next thing you know, they're holding the World Series trophy for the first time in 108 years. Culture. And the reason why I'm talking about the Lakers, because now they've hired Magic Johnson, and you've just brought an old face back in. That's not going to help change the culture with young players. You tried that with Byron Scott. Did not work. And now we're seeing that Magic wants more power. That Magic wants to have more decisions and stuff. Jim Buss has to step aside. Nothing is going to get better in the LA. Listen, Laker fans, listen to me. For the last time, I'm not going to say it again. And most of you know this, but you just want to think, oh, we could have got somebody if we didn't still have Kobe. You weren't getting nobody. They don't want to play for Buss. They know Kobe's out the door in a year. They know other players are out the door in a year. These guys know these veterans, these older, they're out the door. This is about to be my squad. I'll go ahead and turn this thing around. Plus, I'm in LA. I get Sunset Boulevard. I get Hollywood. I get pretty women. I get legalized weed. I get beautiful weather 9.5 months out of the year. We have a 2-month winter here. Winter's just finishing up in LA. It's 71 degrees today. And it's cloudy. It's February. There's Santa Monica. There's Manhattan Beach. There's Roscoe's. There's the Kodak Theater. There's Staples. There's the Microsoft. There's ESPN. There's Downtown. There's LA Live. You're a 42-minute flight from Vegas. You're an hour and 15-minute drive from beautiful, beautiful, very trendy gas lamp district in San Diego. You can't deal with Kobe for 1 year. Yeah, get him out, and then this is mine, and then this is mine. No, they don't come because they don't like the culture. They don't like the ownership. And then you bring Magic in. I got nothing against Magic. Magic signed my basketball for me. I ain't got nothing against Magic. Magic is that man. I look up to Magic as a black businessman in this country. I'm trying to figure out how he did it. So when I get my business, my barbershop, my career, my sports bar, my things going, I want to pattern myself after what you've done. So I got no beef with Magic. But why are you bringing back an old face? Why are we going back into old culture? It's not the league no more. Magic's going to be able to convince free agents to come here. So who's the big free agents this year? Let's go through the names. Chris Paul. Chris Paul's just going to walk down the locker room and play with this roster when he has Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan to just throw the ball up to, and he has free reign to pretty much do whatever he wants when he wants. Plus, he's coming on the tippy top to the edge of the downside of his career. So that's what you want to do? You want to bring in a veteran who can't stay healthy, who hasn't played more than 75 games in the last 5 years? You have a young nucleus here. You have some young... I know the record's ugly. I know the losses look ugly. Guess what? This is what happens. This is what happens, man. How do you think Golden State's felt over the last 25 years? Yeah, they had a run with Baron Davis for a year or two. They had a little run with Sprewell, Tim Hardaway with the UTEP two-step, Chris Mullin jacking from outside, until Sprewell decided to attack Don Nelson. Want to fight, PJ Carlissimo. My bad, not Don Nelson. You better not put your hands on Don Nelson. PJ Carlissimo, that's a different story. Because obviously that's how they felt. That's how he felt. He did it. But what did they do? They had to weather through the years of watching everybody else get these free agents, get new arenas, sign superstars while they are playing in a relic up in San Francisco in the Bay, right outside of a bad area in East Oakland where there's a lot of stuff going on out there, across from another crappy relic stadium that people want replaced there, where the A's play, where the Raiders play. It's a crappy stadium area. They had to live through that. They had to work and work and work until they finally got the right guys in, finally got the culture change, finally got the temperature change. Okay, bam, we're ready now. Let's go draft Steph. Bam, let's go draft Clay. Bam, let's go draft Draymond. Bam. Let's build this up now. Let's draft Harrison Barnes, Tario. Let's bring in a veteran no one else sees. Well, let's bring in Iggy. Let's bring in Livingston. Let's bring in Spates. Let's go get these guys and let's build. And they built. Now, they're one of the most hated teams in the league. Because they win. Now people say, oh, they only won one championship. Doesn't matter. They got a championship. It's more than what a lot of other NBA teams could say. But they had to go through those years of watching. Now the Lakers have to go through these years of watching. It's not going to be pretty, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be pretty for the Lakers for a while until Buss steps down. So it doesn't matter if you bring back an old face. Magic don't cut the check. It's about who's cutting that check, which is going to create your culture. Dolan's cutting the check. They're horrible. The owner, same owner that's been there, same front office been there for the Spurs, cutting the check. 5 championships. The late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, cutting the check. 5 championships with Magic, 5 championships with Kobe, 3 championships with Shaq. Who's cutting the check? Who's cutting the checks for the Yankees for years? How many World Series do they have? How many does Steinbrenner win? Who's cutting the check? What's the culture? The Yankees had a damn shaving policy. Shave everybody. Shave your face. Everybody. Johnny Damon was known for his beard in Boston. Goes to New York. Shave. This is what we do here. Turn around. See those banners? See those trophies? You see these rings? I got so many, I got to keep them in a box. We have so many. We got to build a new stadium because we need a place for all our Hall of Fame legends, statues, and plaques. And we need a place to keep all these I'm tired of keeping World Series trophies all crammed up in these cages. I want each World Series trophy to have its own wing at the new stadium. 27 different wings. Make it happen. That's what I would do. It's called culture. Cubs aren't going anywhere, guys. If you think magically some other team is just going to pop up in the NL this year, no. It's going to be either the Cardinals, the Giants, or the Cubs. Dead serious. It's going to be the Cardinals, the Giants, or the Cubs. Those are going to be your National League teams that are going to be maybe Washington. I know a lot of people like Washington to be good, to do something and be good this year. But the culture, how many World Series rings have come out of the National League in the last 10 to 15 years? What teams are they from? St. Louis has 2. San Francisco has 2. The Cubs have 1. That's 5 rings among 3 teams right there. That's in the last 10 years. What's the common denominator? Culture. Why the Dodgers still struggling, even with good players to kind of get this thing going, really keep it on the run. I mean, you had a good thing with Madden League, and then you let Madden League go. You bring a new manager. Yeah, they look a little good, okay in the playoffs, but then they also get to a point where they're just outmatched by the better coach, the better ran franchises. They're better. We're just better. We're ran better than you right now. The Falcons are a better team on paper than the Patriots. The Patriots, though, they're just ran better. That's why they were able to come back and win that game. It's not just Brady. It's just the team itself. You have all these players on the radio and TV making the appearances, making the runarounds, and everybody goes, come on, you guys can't tell me you're not in the locker room. They're like, no, yeah, we're upset because we're not playing as well as we know we could play, but we're far from shell-shocked. You guys think we're in the locker room just like, what the hell? But no. He goes, everybody was calm. We're going to come back. Listen, this is what we need to do. When they do this, we do this. When they do this, we're going to do this. When they do this, that's culture, guys. And the Lakers right now, in my opinion, they're not really building a good culture. Since Jim has took over, I call him the bus boy. Since the bus boys took over, and Jeannie, she's such a sweetheart. She's such a sweet sister. She won't push her brother out the door. What she should do if she cares about the legacy of what her father built. Jim wanted to step away. The busboy wanted to step away. Phil Jackson was prepared to take this coaching job and come back. He would have already had his incumbent replacement right there with him. Brian Shaw is sitting right back on the bench with Juan right now. A lot of people thought that's what probably was going to be out here in LA. No matter what circles you're in, whether it's a fan circle or network circle or journalist circle, I get to mingle in all 3 because I'm a fan and I know a lot of journalists and I know people that work at these networks up here. I go do radio appearances and things like that. Try to go in, sitting behind the camera, watching and observing shows and things of that nature. I talk to these people. I don't just take pictures and post it online just for bragging rights. No, I talk to a lot of times I don't need to take pictures. Move in silence. Sometimes you gotta move in silence in life. I think this is my silence point. Not a lot of pictures of who I'm hanging with or what studio I'm in or what network I'm at today or, who I'm mingling with over here, who I'm meeting up with over here. Trying to move in silence more. I feel like my life is more successful when I move in silence. Sometimes you say things because, you want your people to know what you're doing and, you want your people to be proud of you. You want your fan base to know what you're doing and the moves you're making, that this isn't just a sports talk podcast radio show that's just going to be here. No, this thing's going to go national one day. You guys in the chat room are going to be able to say, I used to listen to that cat when he was on Spreaker. When he was on iHeartRadio. VJ been saying that. VJ been talking about LeBron like that. VJ been talking about Michigan football. VJ been talking about the NBA like that, or college basketball, or Rafael Nadal, or NASCAR, or whatever I throw out there, man, that somebody goes, oh, now he's on the big stage. Oh, he doesn't really watch NASCAR. Go back and listen to Spreaker. VJ taught NASCAR. VJ struggled with trying to figure out who to like after Jeff Gordon left, because I don't want to bandwagon a guy that's already won championships. I'm trying to find a young driver that I like that may be just starting 2-3 years in. I don't like none of those guys. It's hard. It's like NBA right now. My favorite player is my nephew, Kendall. That's what my favorite player is. I don't have a favorite player in the NBA right now, even on the Pistons. It's a different time. And the Lakers need to change with the times. If you do not adapt in life, you shall perish. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in every faith religion book. It's in every cool movie we've ever seen, maybe set in a different way. Cool action flick or cool street flick. Anybody who's smart will tell you, if you do not evolve in life, business, love, relationship. Let me ask you this. Anybody listening right now, how often do you look back on your relationship and go, wow, look how far my lady or my man, my husband, my boyfriend, my fiance, my girlfriend, my wife, look how far we've come. You didn't just come far because you've been together. You came far because you both evolved through the relationship. You stop just being a lazy guy. Maybe you help out with the dishes a little more. Causes her not to say anything about it anymore. That's evolving. That's evolving. That's evolution. Maybe your fiance or girlfriend who used to say, I'm not about to for a man. Maybe she doesn't say that anymore because she realizes that's conduct detrimental to the team. We're a team, damn it. That's conduct detrimental to the team. Now she does those things. She doesn't say those things. It's not conducive to a positive and a successful relationship. She's evolved. You help with the kids more. You cook dinner whenever she's stuck in traffic, or whoever gets home first starts dinner. Maybe it wasn't like that before. Maybe she or he got home and nothing was done. Why did you start cooking? Always waiting for you. You evolve. You have to do that when it comes to running a professional sports franchise. You must evolve. The Cubs, they decided to evolve. World Series. Golden State started to evolve in the way they drafted players, in the way they got their culture of what they wanted to be and who they wanted to do, what they wanted to be. They knew when they got Steph was going to be hit threes, maybe not threes like he's hitting. They knew he could shoot though. So they obviously was going with the coach. Okay, we're gonna score. Let's see if we can get some guys in here who can score in the basketball. It's not ironic, guys, that back-to-back guard picks are Steph and Clay. And when Clay came out of the draft, the notes on Clay was he was the best shooter in the draft. People even said that about him coming out of Washington State. Say he's the best shooter in the draft. He's the best pure shooter in the draft. We may not know about him because we only pay attention to Carolina, and to Duke, and to Kentucky, and to Kansas, and to UCLA, and to Texas. And Syracuse, and UConn, and NC State, the ACC. You pay attention to the ACC, and you pay attention to the Big Ten, right? Michigan State, Izzo. We pay attention to college coaches first. Coach K, Boeheim, Roy Williams, Izzo, Shaka Smart. They're brands in college basketball, just like college football. Harbaugh, Urban, Jimbo, Saban, Sarkisian, Carroll. You could talk about Bear Bryant. We could go, his name is slipping my mind right now. Goodness gracious. Notre Dame works on ESPN now. I cannot believe that his name just slipped my mind like that. And quick sidebar, how fast has Notre Dame football fallen? It was one of the teams that I told you guys in the preview episode that I did back in August. I gave you guys 4 colleges that I thought were heading the wrong way. Notre Dame was one of them. Texas was another one of them. I might have missed on USC. But nobody knew USC was going to make a quarterback change in week 5. And they did, and it worked out for them. And I changed my stance on USC. I banged on USC the first 4, 5, 6 weeks. Rightfully so. Once they changed, they started playing different. I gave them their props. But once you decide to change your culture, man, goodness gracious, so many great things can happen for you. And I just don't think that bringing Magic back is going to help change the culture, man. Flip over to the Carolina-Duke game last night. I'll finish it up with that, man. Great game by both teams. Great game by Duke. I got no beef in this game, guys. I really don't. When they're hitting threes like that, I've been watching this for all my life of being a Carolina guy and being a Tar Heel. If Duke's hitting threes like that, it's hard to beat them if you miss, especially if you miss free throws like Carolina did last night. Not even going to mention an injury and a guy not playing. Didn't matter. Hit the free throws, you still win that game. Carolina's still the better. If you look at that game, you can see Carolina's still the better complete basketball team. They're still the better complete basketball team. Joel Berry, though, he owes Carolina fans when that game's back at Chapel Hill the last Saturday of the regular season. 14 points with 3 missed free throws all down the stretch. Can't happen, bruh. Not in that game. You know why? Because I've seen Derek Phelps go in there and not do that. I've seen Ty Lawson go in there and not do that. I've seen Kendall Marshall go in there and have 21 and 11 on their senior night on the last Saturday of the regular season to win the ACC championship. So I can't handle 14 points off shooting night and 3 missed free throws down the stretch. You owe us back. I've seen Donald Williams go in there and light them up. I've seen Jeff McInnes go in there and light them up. I need my point guard from Carolina. The one thing I need out of my point guard and my big man, whoever the big man is, whether it's Montrose, whether it's Sean May, whether it's Serge Zwicker, whether it's Brendan Haywood. Guess what Brendan Haywood went in there and did? Won at Duke. I believe 19 and 12 in rebounds and was a poor free throw shooter, but hit 3 clutch free throws down the stretch to knock off a supremely much better Duke team that night that had Jay Will and Dunleavy and Boozer and those guys. Went into Cameron and pulled off a miraculous win in a year where Carolina wasn't that good. But I need that out of my superstars from Carolina. Until you do that, you're not a superstar to me at Carolina. Justin Jackson played great last night. Justin Jackson can't do it by himself, though. And Justin Jackson seemed to disappear in the second half. Late in that game to me, I was looking for Justin Jackson. At some point, superstars, if you're a superstar, you just go get a bucket. That's what Rasheed did. That's what Vince did. That's what Rashad McCants did. That's what Sean May did. That's what Wayne Ellington did. That's what Tyler Hansbrough did. When you're on the road and you're at Duke and you're in Cameron, superstars, they just go take dubs. They just go take them. I didn't see Joel Berry do that last night. I was disappointed in that. Grayson Allen was on fire. I got no beef with Grayson Allen. Not going to go to the antics. Played clean last night. There was no referee BS. I don't know how that last call's not continuation for Berry, but, whatever. You still got to hit free throws. I look at the game, 7-point win, missed 8 free throws. There's the game right there. We don't have to go deep. They shot almost 60%. They hit buckets. You have to hit free throws, though. And I said at halftime on Facebook, this game will come down to who hits free throws and who does not. I said it at halftime on Twitter and Facebook. And that's exactly what it came down to. The free throw line. I do not still understand certain things in sports. I don't understand how golfers miss 3-foot putts, 2-foot putts. I still don't understand how kickers miss field goals under 35 yards. I don't get that. It's under 35. It's not going to be short, but damn, you pushed it that far left or right. You're close as hell. How do you miss that? And you can actually set the ball on the hash mark, run a play to get the ball to whatever hash mark you want, so you get the angle that you want. I don't understand how guys miss free throws. There's just certain things in sports I just don't get. I don't get how quarterbacks still today throw in double coverage. How do you, and you see 2 opposite jerseys. Now, you're throwing up the Julio, fine. You're throwing up the Odell, fine. You're throwing up the AJ, fine. You're throwing up the Odell, fine. Dez, B. Marsh, cool. But you don't just repeatedly throw into double coverage. How do some players do that? And they do it all the time. They just continuously throw the ball into double coverage. I don't understand how players miss multiple free throws at inopportune times of basketball games. I don't understand how guys shoot below 70% from the free throw line. You're at the line, 10 feet away. No one's guarding you. There's nobody there. It's a 10-foot shot. One hand, a push. I could go out to the Van Nuys course that I live 2 blocks from and go to the free throw line and go 8 for 10 right now. Cold. No warming up. Just give me the ball 10 times. And we're going to see how many free throws I hit. I guarantee you, I'll put money. I go 8 for 10 right now. You got guys that shoot 61% in college. When you're in class, when you're not in class, then you have no money, so you can't trick. You can't ball out. You can't go shopping. You can't hit up strip clubs. You can't do any of that stuff on the regular like you can as a pro athlete. After class, how are you not in the gym? They're not going to not let you in. You play on the team. There's a court and a hoop somewhere for you. Somewhere. All the money they're spending to pay for your education so that you can go out and perform, so that you can put money into the pockets of the athletic department, so that they can build new arenas and get new uniforms every year and build new state-of-the-art training facilities and weightlifting rooms and new dorms and all that. Carolina just built new dorms not too long ago. They just built a whole shrine right next to the Dean Dome. They have the letter of intent that Michael Jordan signed encased it in the frame there. They have the first recruiting letter that they ever sent Michael Jordan encased in there. I saw it with my own eyes. Autographed jerseys and balls, and a lot of big-time universities have that. But where do you think they get this money from? They get it because the players out there doing what he does. And you're not going to keep this kid, you're going to keep this kid from shooting free throws somewhere when you know he shoots 62%? That's not going to happen. But that's where that game was last night. I thought Meeks, when he plays without Hicks, you can see how hard it is for him to get free on the inside. He worked hard. Meeks worked hard to try to get position. Emil Jefferson did a really good job. I like the Tatum kid from Duke too, but I don't know if I see superstar. I think he's one and done because I think the scouts are getting his head. There's no way he goes back to Duke next year. He was touted as a one and done kid coming out of high school anyway. But I like Tatum and I like Kennard. Kennard is very fundamentally sound. I will give him that. He has very fundamental. I'm always looking for, he walks, or he doesn't. He actually really sticks that pivot foot, the fake little shot, the little backhand fake twist shot that faked out the Carolina players that got him to be able to spin around and then give it to Tatum for the dunk. That's a fundamentally sound move right there. That looks like Jerry West fundamentals right there. Pump fakes very well. Williams did a great job guarding him and then laying on his dribble drives. Once he got his feet stopped and he was going for the pump fake, Williams did very good to stay on his feet and not go up. So he played good defense on him. But Kennard just hits shots. He's very fundamentally sound. Knows how to use the glass. Knows how to use some angles. I can respect that when I'm watching basketball, regardless of what the jersey the guy has on. That's why it's hard for me to talk sports with so many people. There's people who don't like teams, so they'll just never like any of their players. I'm just not like that. There's been Ohio State players that I just thought were awesome. I thought Antoine Winfield was a beast. I used to love Terry Glenn. I used to try to pattern myself after Chris Carter when I was young and I played receiver. I thought guys like Eddie George. I played against Eddie George in high school when he played for Fork Union Military Academy. I played for Fishburne Military Academy in Waynesboro, Virginia, right outside of Roanoke. He went to Fishburne. He went to Fork Union. I went to Fishburne. There's Randolph-Macon. There's Lynchburg Christian Academy. Like the prep school football. I play some prep school high school football, which is a higher level between high school and college. I play some military prep school level football. Played against Eddie George. I thought Eddie George was a beast. But there are a few Duke players, man, I look at and I go, Tatum could be a superstar. I like Kennard. I thought the game was evenly played last night. Like I said, I appreciate there was no ref BS. There was the continuation call on Barry that, you want continuation on that, but what are you going to do? You can't blow up about that. But then he goes to the line and doesn't make the free throws. So you can't complain about the call if you're not at least going to go make the free throws. So I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that fan. And we definitely get him. We get him again. Back to the chat room. What bus said, VJ, you a damn lie. Y'all high yellow at? Well, first of all, I'm going to stop reading your comment just for even prefacing me like that, bro. Thanks anyway for listening. My man Vince Wright says Mason throwing down the dunks. Yeah, he was. Said Irish can't beat Navy and Duke. You're right, they can't. And you did say Notre Dame was fool's gold the same season. But was that because you really saw that? Or was that your dislike for Notre Dame? Because I just really saw when they had to suspend, if you think about it, they've had to suspend some of their better players a lot over the last 3 to 4 years. That's a culture thing that's going on there. I mean, Deshaun Golston, they got to the point where they just said bye. They just told Golston to go away. It got to a point at the end of the day, they literally told Golston, just go. We're fine. We're fine. Thanks, but no thanks. We'll see you around. So they've had some other problems there that I would look at, and I don't think most people have really, looked at it or brought it up a lot. They've had some discipline issues there. And maybe it's because they're, I look at them in football like I look at Duke in basketball. They are the great white American hope football college. I mean, come on, they make fictional movies. I mean, Rudy is such an overrated movie. It's so overrated. College football movies, I mean, come on, man. Give me the program all day long. Give me the program all day over Rudy. Rudy? Come on, man. Ain't that the same little kid from the Entourage? Oh, man. Great show today, guys. Shout out to my Duke fans, man. Congratulations on the win. I kept it classy. I went online last night. I said, y'all, I got no beef with this game. Good win. We got to hit free throws, though. And we get them back home. Hopefully, everybody will be healthy. And we'll get Hicks back, and it'll be a different thing. Also, too, great game last night between UCLA and Oregon. Oregon jumps up 19. Lonzo Ball does exactly what his last name is. Balls. Brings his team back with the help of some big shots from his point guard. I did not know that was Holiday's little brother, Drew Holiday's little brother. I like that, man. That kid could play. The Holiday younger brother looks just like Drew, too. But he's got a lot of fire. He's got a lot of spunk. He's got a lot of moxie in him, man, to be a small guard. That kid, he's going to go pro. He's got a pro-type game. He can flat out shoot the ball, and he can handle the ball and control the ball like nobody's business, which is always a plus when you're talking, college basketball. You have to have great point guard play. That's just the way that goes. You got to have great point guard play to be successful in college basketball. So, shout out to all my Duke friends out there. Shadid, my man Carlton Mack out there, Bianca Mack, his sister. She actually went to Duke. Like, I know people who actually went there, but, Other NBA news, LeBron James, stop, man. Stop. You didn't get fouled, dog. Flailing all over the floor, swimming and shit. Stop. Once again, don't give me the gun and the bullets. Don't give radio guys like me the gun and the bullets. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop it. Stop it. That's my Shaq. Stop it. That don't matter. I did it. Give me the ball. I'm going to dominate. I got a bum on my back. Give me the ball. 28-15. I did it. Stop, LeBron. That was fun. It was actually funny because it's like, dog, like, stop. They didn't get touched, man. And then they lose. Listen, guys. Anybody that's smart knows we would never see this run. For those of you that are mad at the NFL run we've had to watch, who believe the Patriots are still cheating and everything is due to them cheating, then how is it that you're the same people who can't say that everything we're seeing in this era with LeBron James is really all about him staying in the Eastern Conference? They can't beat a Western Conference team. They lost to OKC last night, guys. OKC. And they're getting manhandled in some of these games. They're getting outplayed. They're not playing defense. And they had all their players play last night. They lost to OKC. Russ Westbrook had his 26 triple-double last night. But what are we more concerned about? We're more concerned about Carmelo, the Knicks, Oakley, Dolan. And it's great for my business. Of course, I'm going to talk it. But shouldn't something else come first? We're talking the MVP right now. The MVP, we haven't even had the All-Star game. We're talking about the MVP. That's how bad the NBA is. Do you guys want to listen to me now? That's how bad the NBA is. I've been saying it for 2 years. The NBA, man, this is bad. This is horrible. These games aren't worth watching. We're going to watch OKC and Golden State on Saturday for one reason. We just want to see how the crowd and Russ Westbrook takes and accepts Kevin Durant. The pregame handshake. Ooh, the pregame handshake. Will they shake hands? Will they not? Dun, 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 dun. Or if I was a rap hip hop mixtape DJ, Russ Westbrook, Kevin Durant, I'm out of here, man. My man BS3 Sports, appreciate you, man. I see you're a new listener, bro. Listen, I'm a Tar Heel, bro. My family's gone to that school, graduated from school. My nephew played in that uniform. I rocked my Rasheed Wallace old Nike throwback joint all day yesterday. It's college. You'll lose one early. You lose a few in the middle. The thing in college, don't lose late. That's it. Carolina's fine. Hicks will be back. We have great guard play. We have great size. We rebound fit. And guess what? Guess what else we did last night? We out-rebounded Duke like we out-rebounded everybody else. Free throws, man. Losses like that don't hurt me. Because you look at it and you go, it's like a missed field goal loss. If my Dolphins go on the road and they're in a tough environment, they're at Denver or they're at, New England, and it comes down to a last-second field goal, that loss doesn't hurt me. The loss that hurts me is the 37-3 loss. The ass-kicking. That hurt loss. Those losses, those hurt. That hurt loss. Yeah, I'm getting delirious. It's definitely time for me to get off and go grab some lunch. Get me a California chicken cheese steak from Jersey Mike's. That's what's for lunch. I gotta take Woodson out too. He's staring at me in his room like, yo, I gotta go outside, man. Come on, Pops. Appreciate everybody in the Sports Talk Back Cave today, man. Greco, Vince, Rough Buff. Rough Buff. Are you a stripper? That Rough Buff, or is that that's a thug name, huh? I'm light skinned with blue eyes. I couldn't be a thug. I couldn't even do anything bad to people, man. I broke in this one lady house one time and I knocked the dishes out while I was there. They was nasty. It wasn't clean. I didn't want to steal nothing from them. I'm out of here, y'all, man. I'm just rambling on right now, guys. Appreciate everybody listening to VJ Wright, Unsportsmanlike Conduct, man. Might do a Saturday show tomorrow, so, stay tuned. See y'all tomorrow, man. God bless, guys. I'm out.